That's me in. Sheep. Good morning. So we are here at Funningur viewpoint, and it is 8 minutes until the sun comes up above the horizon. The clouds are starting to colour up a little. I think this is definitely a sunrise spot. We came here last night and sunset. There's some mountains over there and the sun was going down behind it, and yeah, just missed out a little. Got a tiny bit of light, but not great. But hopefully this morning, the sun's gonna come up and flood this valley down here, and maybe a little bit later up through the fjord up there. So fingers crossed this is gonna be a good morning. We're at the lower viewpoint on this hike. It's only about a 10-minute walk through some pretty big bogs, actually. So we've got boots, and when we parked the car about 15 minutes ago, we were in a rainstorm, so we've got waterproofs on as well. But you never know what the weather's going to do. Hopefully it stays nice. Hopefully this is going to colour up, and it's going to light up soon. There's a photography group over there, obviously come to enjoy the scenery as well. So yeah, let's go and take some shots. So in terms of lenses this morning, I'm going to use the 16-35, give it another run through. I think a nice wide angle in this vista will be great. But I also want to try and move a bit further back, maybe get Kaz standing on this rock, probably with a Instagram Tesco £6 eBay yellow jacket on, and put the longer lens on. So I've got the Tamron 50-400. And if I move a bit further back and zoom in, I can still make her small in the frame to show the scale of the vista, but bring that background closer, so a bit of compression going on to try and, I guess, just show the vastness of what we're going to be photographing here today. So yeah, hopefully those two lenses do me all right. I've got the 24-70 just in case, but I don't think I'll need 35-50 in terms of a focal range. I don't know why I bought it. I just feel like I've got it, so I need to bring it. But maybe with the setup of the 16-35 and the 50-400, actually I only need to bring two lenses. Who knows? We'll see at the end of this trip, I guess. The time is now 20 past 10, and we have been up at the Funningur Ridge for about 4 hours, well, since sunrise, which was just after 6:30 this morning. We've had some crazy good conditions. We've had a bit of sunbeam, the clouds lighting up at sunrise. The rain's just rolled in now, and I mean, you can see we're walking back to the car and have a look behind me. But yeah, some nice light coming through. And the last 20 minutes, finally got some seabirds flying up. I'm just trying to capture them in frame, either against the sea to balance out the composition, or against the sky, just to bring something a little extra to the image. And they were just flying around the ridge, and I'd filled up an SD card and had to quickly switch. But I think all the images from this morning are going to be amazing. We've got some with Kaz, some without Kaz, some with birds, some with my bird. Kaz looked at me then. It's like, call me a bird. But I'm not sure. I'm going to have to try and find a sunset location if the weather's going to be nice today, and if the clouds hold off. So anyway, we're just leaving the bottom side of the ridge now. About a 10-minute walk back to the car, and I think a nice cup of tea is in order. Setting a fast shutter speed and bumping the ISO to freeze some birds in flight was the best idea I had that day. It makes such a difference to the composition having birds there. It gives the composition a clear focal point and tells a better story. The best conditions we had were about 2 hours after sunrise when broken clouds and rain rolled through. The sun was still low in the sky, backlighting the rain and creating sunbeams as it broke through the clouds. It was the perfect conditions and everything I had hoped for from this location. Kaz got in there too, like I was telling you, getting that bit of perspective compression against the background. And this was the pre-dawn view across to the left. You could see some of the clouds in the background just starting to colour up. Just quickly before we move on with the video, about 80% of you aren't actually subscribed to my channel. So if you want to help me take some money away from Google and get some of that juicy ad revenue, then just click the subscribe button below. It'd be much appreciated. Anyway, back on with the video. There are a few locations which I didn't go on the islands. One of them I didn't vlog at, and I'm going to talk about it now. It's called Risin Og Kellingin viewpoint. So these are a couple of sea stacks which are right on the northern tip of Eysturoy, just north of Iui. Well, not quite on the northern tip, but on the northern tip above Iui. And you can get to a viewpoint on the mountain track between Iui and Funningur. But be aware if you go in winter, they don't necessarily maintain that road over winter, so it may be closed in bad weather. But when we went in September, it was perfectly nice, and at sunset, we got some great views back down towards those sea stacks, the lovely road running across. I really, really liked it. A nice high f-stop to get the sun stars here, and bracketed exposures due to the high dynamic range, but a great view. The sky that evening was beautiful, the clouds coming through from the storm just lighting up in the sunset. And I found some rocks, I just tried to find some foreground, but I thought this was lovely. Last night, the Aurora. I got a red alert for the UK, which meant in the Faroe Islands, being at such a higher latitude, that we just got epic showing. It was the first proper clear night we had as well, and I can't believe it. I'm just going to show you some of the time lapses. I've taken loads of photos from around where we were staying in Funningur, and oh my god, yes. I want to say it doesn't get better than that, but then I might be copywriting somebody, and I could say it was so epic, but then I'm copying somebody else. So no, I'm just going to have to show you. This is me living my best life on the boat dock in Funningur, taking photos and time lapses. When photographing the Aurora, you don't want too long a shutter speed. Anything over 5 seconds may be too much, dependent on the activity, because you want to see those ionized columns in the sky. All the time lapses were taken on my Sony ZV-E1 using S&Q time-lapse mode. I'm sure they would have been better taken as raw images and stick together later, but maybe that's something I'll have to test in the future. Anyway, I was way too excited taking photos to focus too much on the time-lapse, which was an added bonus. I couldn't let any of the time-lapses go to waste, so I'll crank the music and let you watch for a moment. Can you see the Andromeda Galaxy in this first shot? You may have to pause to take a look, but let me know in the comments if you can spot it. The photos came out even better than the time lapses. Camera raw denoise, which is the same denoise algorithm as in Lightroom, did an amazing job of cleaning up my images whilst retaining a decent amount of detail. Being in such an amazing location, I have plenty of foreground opportunities in the vicinity, such as Funningur Church, the town itself from up above, the roads, all with this amazing Aurora lit backdrop and the islands in the distance. On a boat to Drangarnir, and it's raining. This is awesome. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to do the hike. I'm not sure how well you can hear me. I don't want to get everything out of my bag, so I've got the rain. This is epic. Today we're at Drangarnir. That's probably the most photographed sea stack in the world, the best sea stack to photograph in the world. And it is right here in the Faroe Islands, right on the tip of Vega. And it is a little bit moody today. The sky is flat and it is raining, but we just got a boat out here. It is coming up to 22:12. And I've got about another hour and 10 minutes before the boat comes to pick me back up. The hike costs about €80, but looking at the peaks behind me and the fact that a few people have said that it's quite a difficult hike, moderate to advanced, 6-hour round trip, we decided not to hike this time, and I'm glad we're not hiking today in this weather as well, because it's a little bit minging. So we took a boat. Boat cost us 1,600 kroner for the two of us, 800 kroner each. It literally just whipped up the fjord here, dropped us off and said, right, we'll be back at 12:45 to come and pick you up. If you want to rent the boat out to come out here for sunset, that's going to cost you minimum 5,000 kroner, and I just couldn't fork that out today. Oh, it's blowing everywhere. So the camera nearly fell over. Kaz is going to come and hold it. Where was I?
£5 for the boat.
£5 for the boat. All right, so yeah, if you want to rent a boat yourself, it's about 5,000 kroner, and you can come out here at sunset, but you've still got to pay the landlord his fee for coming onto his land, which is the €80. So I think that is packaged into the price for the boat. But we're here, it's moody, there's seabirds, not many waves, thankfully for the boat ride, but some more moodier atmosphere would have been nice. Maybe the sun will come out just before we go, but I very much doubt it. But at least I'm here. Very tired because of last night, the Aurora. Sometimes boats actually sail through the arch on a good day if you're on a boat tour that doesn't come for the hike. We've come on the boat hike tour, so it's a little bit different. In terms of compositions here, I'm gonna have a play around on this cliff edge. I've just stuck Kaz out there as a little person in the yellow jacket on the edge and taken a few photos. And then just before we leave, because I'm not walking back up this steep hill again, I'm gonna go down to the rocks down at the bottom there and try and get some slightly long exposure, put an ND filter on and get some water coming in, leading lines through there. So light's not great, but I don't care. Again with the birds, some have accused them of being paid actors, but trust me, if they were, you'd want your money back. It was definitely a waiting game, hoping they would fly into the right spot. Kaz did an excellent job too, making sure you get a really good feel for how big this landscape actually is. I took some minimalist shots, I used the cliffs as the foreground, and in this last shot, I managed to get both Kaz and a bird in frame, and I think it's just epic. I'm now at the bottom spot of Drangarnir.
and it's an incredible view. Still raining. The light popped up there just for a few moments. Tiny little bit of sun coming through the clouds. But I did get an amazing shot with a seabird, and that's the point. I said, right, we're going to come down here, ready for the boat, which is in about 15 to 20 minutes. But it's really just started raining again. The wind started to pick up. And if you are going to come down to this lower part where you've got the sea rocks and the water coming through below me here, leave your backpack up there. Just bring what you need, so maybe a camera, your filters, a tripod, and that's it. Because if you see black on the rocks, it's going to be super slippy. You can quite easily slip off, get in the water, or even, graze your leg, break an arm, sprain a wrist, whatever. It's pretty darn gnarly down here, especially with conditions like today, so very careful if you're going down this end. Apart from that, the view's incredible, and yeah, I'm going to take a few last snaps and then head back to the boat and go and get a nice warm coffee. Front of the boat, going around the sea stacks. It's a bit choppy. Whoa. This is Drangarnir, famous arch sea stack from the back. And see the arch? We are going to go through it like a boss. There it is. Drangarnir sea stack straight through the bit. Bet you can't see rain.
So that is it for part 2. The final part 3, will be out very soon, where I hike Clacker, take an amazing panorama, and make it probably the best spot on the Faroes, Calla Lighthouse on Kalsoy. In the meantime, you might want to check out part 1 if you haven't already, because Mulafossa Waterfall is a must-see.